Morg was Galactus' herald after Nova, who was fired from duty because of denying Galactus to feed on planets that were teeming with life. Galactus was serving as a court executioner on the planet Carinir before being confronted with Galactus. Galactus eventually consumed the planet Carinir but faced a respectful defiance from Morg. Morg showed no fear in front of Galactus. Morg was also selected to be Galactus' herald after he impressed him, and after Galactus lost several of his previous heralds because of the attacks of conscience. Morg gladly accepted the role of Galactus' herald after his brutal and vicious specimen was selected by Galactus. Morg continued using his double-edged battle axe as the herald that he used as his weapon while he was still an executioner. Today at Marvelous Videos, let's take a deeper look into the character. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Morg the Executioner backstory explored. On his home planet, Morg joined a rebel army that was fighting their queen. He has a lifelong desire to help the powerful. He was forced to stop his rebellion due to the magnitude of the queen's troops. The queen gave him and the other survivors one more chance to serve her after taking them as prisoners. Morg turned his back on his friends and joined the queen because he was drawn to the powerful. He was therefore designated as an executioner, and his first duty was to execute his former comrades, which he did without hesitation. Galactus, the devourer of worlds, then arrived on his planet. Morg didn't exhibit fear in the presence of the massive beast, only a courteous, fearless opposition. Galactus, pleased by Morg's behavior and uneasy after losing several heralds to the offensive of conscience, decided to select this vicious and merciless monster as his newest herald. Morg received the power cosmic from Galactus, giving him the strength to contend with the Silver Surfer, a position that Galactus had not authorized in earlier herald. Morg embraced the role of Galactus' herald with eagerness. Morg has a double-edged fighting axe that he formerly employed when performing his executioner duties. Morg served as Galactus' herald after the previous one, Nova, was banished for protecting suitable but inhabited planets from Galactus' hunger. Kun asks that Nova and Silver Surfer give him control of their ship in Silver Surfer issue 69. They push back and resist. Nova separates from the spacecraft and starts to descend towards the dimensional passage. Kun grabs her wire but says he'll release it if they don't take him inside. He challenges Galactus and reveals where he came from. In his own dimension, Kun had explored and conquered. His ship broke apart and he was left alone in the dimensional passage. Galactus forcefully fuses Kun with the ship's machinery when he discloses that his battlesuit has maps of the passageway. On Titan, in the meantime, Guitar steals a vessel and makes off with a paralyzed Nebula. A prisoner is put to death by Morg on an unidentified planet. As Galactus becomes ravenous once again, Nova informs him when she returns to the spacecraft that no suitable planets are close by. Galactus, however, has been observing her and is aware of her deception. He declares that her arrogance will end right now and surrounds her with energy. To teach her a lesson, he ventures to the nearest planet, which is home to millions of people. Galactus is welcomed by the local executioner, Morg. He claims that his only worry is for himself to survive and that he has no fear of Galactus. Galactus spares him while absorbing the planet's energy. He tells Nova that she is free to leave and never bother him again. She struggles to understand that a mad guy is stepping into her position. Galactus gives her a warning to depart before harshly punishing her. Morg readily consents to act as his herald. Galactus endows Morg, his newest herald, with his power cosmic. He gives him authority to compete with the Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer boards Galactus' spaceship to meet Nova. Galactus informs him that she has permanently disappeared. He then tells Morg that the Surfer is an undesirable visitor and must be eliminated. Silver Surfer and Morg engage in combat. Morg can subjugate the Surfer and bring him in before Galactus, thanks to his strength and ability. Galactus issues a warning and makes a long-term pledge to shield his ship from the Surfer so that he won't interfere with him again. The Surfer is knocked unconscious by Morg, who warns him that their next encounter won't be as pleasant. Dr. Mandibus starts working on Nebula in the meanwhile. Guitar instructs him to maintain her current personality. The Surfer awakens and realizes he cannot battle this threat alone. He searches for Firelord and helps him thwart some energy smugglers who are trying to capture him. He tells Firelord that Galactus now has an unworthy herald and that they must stop him. They started looking for Nova. Galactus has located Morg's first planet for him to devour. He wipes off the whole population for his own delight. To locate Nova, Firelord and Silver Surfer travel to the planet Calculex. This planet is seedy. They find Nova in Flamers, a strip club. They're shocked to discover Nova performing as a dancer. She is not herself, and it is obvious to them that she does not recognize. In the meanwhile, Dr. Mandibus has completed his work on Nebula. She's mostly robotic, although she seems to be herself. The Surfer tries to kick Nova out of the club. The opposition from the clients leads to chaos. Silver Surfer was attacked by a large extraterrestrial that has wanted to challenge Surfer ever since they arrived on Earth. He could seem to kill the Surfer by blasting him. On the planet he discovered for Galactus, Morg had discovered some. He's curious as to what it is that they guard. He hears about it from a clergyman. It is a true fountain of youth where a sip may restore health, but the well may also endow him with immense strength. Morg enters the water against the priest's advice. Nova is devastated at the Surfer's passing. However, he was merely pretending to be dead to persuade the man to leave him alone. However, after leaving Galactus, Nova is unable to recall anything. To locate the one some person who can locate Galactus, they set out together. They reached the asteroid where Airwalker was interred by Firelord. He had been made conscious of having a robotic body. They recharge his cosmic cells with their strength, which powers him. After being resurrected, he assaults them with limited recollection. He is predisposed to be assaulted in the final seconds of his life. Morg sprang once again from the well of enormous strength. He is now magical and cosmic, brimming with strength. Galactus is taken aback by his inventiveness when he returns. Airwalker awakens just before killing his old friend, Firelord. Despite his memories being somewhat blurry, he's able to recognize him. Firelord affirms that he must cooperate with them in order to fight Morg, but he pledges to help him remember. Airwalker informs them of the Galactus' location. Surfer tells them to keep going that way since they could find Tarax to be another ally. The former Heralds journey to Pluaris 6, Tarax's banished homeworld. Tarax is persuaded to join the Silver Surfer's club of ex-Galactus Heralds through negotiation. Instead of listening, Tarax strikes each of them. Despite his valiant efforts, he understands he cannot defeat all of them. He concludes that going to a prison planet would be worse than dying. Nebula and Guitar have traveled to the prison planet Anaval 14, also known as the Anvil. She wants to get her former team released from prison. Finally listening, Tarax will only assist them under two circumstances. When it's all said and done, he wants his freedom and his axe back. They move to an area of space where the Surfer flung Tarax's axe once the Surfer agrees. They succeed in locating it and give it back to him. They are now prepared to take on Morg. The Heralds quickly learn that Morg is unbeatable because of his increased power when they come to battle him. The Surfer is informed by Tarax that Galactus respects him and that the only way to stop Morg is by using Galactus. Surfer moves for Galactus' spacecraft while the others engage Morg in combat. Galactus approaches the Surfer, but he is unresponsive. When they clash, Galactus almost kills the Surfer. The Surfer reminds him that even if he and Morg manage to murder everyone, Morg's wickedness would attract more people and Galactus will continue to suffer. Galactus ponders the fact and decides to deprive Morg of the power he has given him. When the Surfer comes back, Airwalker has suffered significant damage. Tarax is lying on the ground, his axe broken. Morg appears to be defeated when Nova attacks him. Morg, however, is merely active. As she turns around, he strikes her. She recognizes there is a problem and passes away in the Silver Surfer's embrace. Furious, the Surfer prepares to strike Morg. Galactus prevents them. Then Galactus takes away his power cosmic. Even without it, he maintains his incredible strength and pursues the Heralds. The Silver Surfer refuses to lower himself to Tarax's level when he demands that they work together to kill him. Morg has already been killed by Surfer's axe as he tries to stop Tarax. Firelord and Airwalker agree to function as Galactus' heralds for the time being. The Surfer releases Tarax and receives his new axe since he is a man of his word. Surfer says a few words before Nova's body falls into a nearby star. A few months later, Galactus brought Morg back to life and gave him another opportunity while re-imbuing him with the power cosmic and erasing the heightened effects of the Well of Life. Then Morg went in search of his lost axe. Morg set out to find Tarax to get revenge on him, but while they were engaged in combat, they were attacked by robots working for the evil Tyrant and captured. Tyrant was quickly vanquished by Morg and his fellow inmates, Silver Surfer, Tarax, Gladiator, Beta Ray Bill, Jack of Hearts, and Ganymede, in a fight back before Galactus' entry. Everyone else in the fight has been knocked out except for the Surfer and Morg. Tyrant said that everyone may be let to join for free, with the exception of Morg, out of utter contempt for the World Devourer. Tyrant put Morg in prison while continuing to drain his power cosmic and store it in his orbs. Morg eventually managed to get away, returned to his Lord Galactus, and on the role of Herald once. Morg betrayed both of his masters by chopping off his own arm as he attempted to flee the final nullification blast during a battle between Galactus and Tyrant. Tyrant's drone had attached itself to the ultimate nullifier and Morg's arm, making it impossible for Morg to separate himself from the nullifier. When he tried to flee, the nullifier blew up, devastating Galactus' spacecraft and everyone on board. Tyrant and Morg were believed to be dead. Annihilus finally found Morg's body and used it as a battery to have access to power cosmic. As Annihilus was unable to recover the power cosmic from Morg's corpse because it had dispersed after his death, Morg's death was officially established. Morg finally regained consciousness by mysterious means. When the alien invaders known as the Reckoning threatened their survival of eternity with their universe-spanning fight, Morg joined the other Galactus Heralds in an assault on Asgard to try to rouse their old master so he might join the battle and save eternity. Morg and the other Heralds joined an alliance of other alien civilizations to thwart the Reckoning. The Silver Surfer animated series' second season was planned to feature Morg. He appeared in the episode Soul Hunter Part 1. The Silver Surfer had to defend the Universal Library against Morg and Therian. They are both of the Sarg's ethnicity. So what makes Morg so deadly? Galactus filled Morg, as he did with all of his heralds, with the power cosmic. He has the same level of strength as the Silver Surfer thanks to Galactus. Morg's strength, stamina, endurance, and reflexes were all significantly improved as a result of being able to fly across space. It also enabled him to unleash strong energy blasts that were directed through his axe. Due to the mystical pool he dove into, Morg grew much more powerful than any other Herald, even the Silver Surfer. After the events of Annihilation, when Galactus enhanced the Silver Surfer's abilities, this might no longer be the case. Morg can withstand space and has the power to boost his own strength. Galactus gave Morg the power cosmic, which endowed him with a number of superhuman skills. Later, Morg immersed himself in the Well of Life to temporarily enhance his power. However, when Galactus took the Well's advancements away, Morg's skills were back to their original state. The Nova Corps rated him as having a universal threat level while he was working as Galactus' Herald. His heightened power cosmic and psychopathic attitude ensured that he remained a category number 1 danger. Morg shared a portion of Galactus' power. Like all of the other Heralds of Galactus, he was able to control vast amounts of cosmic energy for a variety of purposes, including projecting intense bursts of heat or force, changing the molecular makeup of most kinds of matter, and enhancing his own physical characteristics. Morg possessed enormous superhuman strength that had no bounds. He had the physical capability to lift well over 100 tons thanks to his ability to channel the power cosmic through his body. Even more strength was added to him once he submerged himself in the Well of Life, but Galactus eventually took away that degree of power. Morg was able to move and run faster than the best human athletes were physically capable of. Morg's cosmically enforced muscular structure produced almost no fatigue toxins. He could keep working for a very long period at his peak capacity. Morg's brain was still biological, therefore he periodically needed sleep, usually once every few months. However, with the enhancements from the Well of Life, this particular constraint was lifted, allowing him to push himself physically without feeling any exhaustion or needing to rest his mind. However, Galactus took away the further improvement to his physical stamina. The tissue in Morg's body are also denser than those in an average human body. Morg was powerful and muscular, but the increased density of his tissues gave the impression that he was much heavier than he actually was. Morg's physique was virtually impervious to physical harm, thanks to the power cosmic's reorganization and enhancement of his tissues. Morg was resistant to all except for the most sophisticated and potent types of weapon penetrations. He was unharmed by extreme impact forces, drops from orbital altitudes, exposure to temperatures as high as the star's interior, and strong energy blasts from characters like the Silver Surfer. In addition to being essentially eternal, Morg was also immune to all known illnesses and the effects of age. Additionally, Morg was able to live in space eternally without needing food, air, or water. Morg's reflexes were improved in the same way and were better than the best human athletes. Morg was extremely resilient, although he wasn't quite indestructible. Though it was beyond the power of most creatures or weapons to do so, he might still be hurt or killed. When hurt, his body's incredible capacity for regeneration allowed him to completely replace the majority of lost or damaged physical tissues. Morg was able to completely regenerate severed limbs, but he needed Galactus' help to rebuild his body after having the majority of his flesh burned away from his bones. Morg could soar across the air at unbelievable speeds. He was able to go across space at a speed of almost 186,000 miles per second, or the speed of light. He also possessed the ability to use the power cosmic to open portals in hyperspace, enabling him to travel at speeds that are many times faster than the speed of light. Morg was a good hand-to-hand fighter, although he tended to rely on his abilities while engaged in combat. Morg utilized a cosmic axe with 2 blades in combat. The axe was about 7 feet long overall, and it had a thick, sturdy handle. Morg often used the axe to focus the power cosmic into lethal blasts, some of which were powerful enough to obliterate the hull of Galactus' spacecraft. Marvelous verdict. The 5 cosmically powerful super beings who were required to vanquish Morg proved almost insufficient. Morg was the strongest of Galactus' heralds, taking power from the Well of Life after initially receiving the power cosmic. He was also the most fearsome due to his illogical evil nature. Galactus' strongest herald, Morg, is a harsh and deadly foe that makes the Silver Surfer seem almost pathetic in comparison. He's one of the most powerful adversaries in the Marvel Universe. Well, that's all for now. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.